Good evening. My name is Nylan Cherry, and today I wanted to break down Chapter 9, which dissects alcoholism and how this can affect our bodily systems as a whole. And so I wanted to provide a little bit of a visual for you guys just for a deeper understanding. So understanding the intricacies of chronic abuse that plays with alcohol. So, dissecting Chapter 9 specifically, you are getting a breakdown and an insight of how each system is affected and overall how alcoholism starts in the body as a whole. A lot of things people don't think about are the little things of how our system is affected as a whole. And something that I wanted to highlight was how alcohol can affect the actual functioning of our systems. People just think, okay, a little tweak, maybe with a sip, things are a little bit fuzzy, maybe a little bit altered, slurred, but you're overall messing with your function. And that ultimately can lead to a long-term effect of damage and mortality, not specifically just little hits with the body. And so, like I said earlier, the chronic abuse part of the digestive system is a whole thing. You're talking about systems that essentially work together that are now broken down into more of a toxic and painful environment than they're used to. And one of the main things that the chapter approaches is our systems as a whole. And one of the main things that touches all of this is our gastrointestinal systems, which targets everything. You're talking about your liver, your intestines, your stomach, your pancreas, all these things that, if affected, can lead to cancer, heartburn, irritable bowel movements, overall infection, and toxic reflections on your body. So, with this understanding, you are looking at how alcohol can affect each targeted system. But right now I wanted to focus on what everybody believes that alcohol goes to immediately, and sometimes people believe that it stays, the stomach. But the stomach can hit a lot of areas. As I've said before, our systems all work together. And so this can be a very, very tricky thing because you're talking about a healthy system that then gets diverted into a toxic system. Because like I said, all these systems work together. One thing may start off as small, but it ultimately can lead into a very, very deep infection. These things can lead to disruption lining of our intestinal system, our stomach lining. All these things can eventually pivot into each other, almost roll into each other, that ultimately puts our body into shutdown mode. And so with this, and this is the picture that I provided from the chapter in itself, was the understandings of chronic abuse on the body. And this is a breakdown, as I mentioned before, of how one system is affected, our entire system is affected. This is important to remember because it's very important to remember that alcohol does not just sit in one place. Nor is it just a one and done thing. It can overall be very effective. And these type of effects can go down to our intestines, to our pancreas, our liver, sometimes even our heart, which is cardiovascular issues as well, that ultimately lead down to our brain, damage of the brain, and mortality rates as well. And so, we now know that it's bad. We know the understandings of alcoholism, but what are the attempts to fix it? And well, something that I learned in Chapter 9 as well was that it can actually be started off with yourself, starting off with pharmaceutical treatments, which I did not know about. For people that want to start off on their own, that have understood, the effects, and just want to get out peacefully by themselves, they have a whole bunch of prescription options that they can take at home just to start the journey. These are the list of medications. You're looking at anti-abuse, which inhibits the metabolism breakdown, the cravings, the pain, and all these other medications do the same thing as well. I also wanted to provide a link coming from our one and only Stanford Medicine, which touches on a very, very vital part, key part in healing alcoholism in general, which is AA meetings. And something that I found interesting was that towards the end of Chapter 9, it touched on healing as well, which goes down to honesty and guidance. Honesty and guidance. These are very, 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 very pivotal parts in your journey because not only do we understand the effects of the body, how these things can affect our systems as a whole, but when it comes down to the mental and actually pulling ourselves out of this so that the mind and the body can now work together, you're talking about holding yourself accountable, you're talking about understanding your body, you're talking about healing your body, and overall adjusting those toxins to then come into a much, much more healthier space. Thank you for your time.